Now, Executive VP of the National Taxpayers Union Foundation, Joe Bishop-Henchman. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Hey, Ryan. Good evening. How are you?
Good. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much trouble are we in when it comes to our national debt?
Well, I think people know that it's not looking good. We just did a poll, actually, and 89% of voters say there's an affordability crisis. And right behind that, 88% say the national debt will eventually have a real impact on them and their families. And so we're trying to raise awareness on this right now because it's something that we should be thinking about as we go into this election and future elections.
Well, here's, I think, the problem. I don't know if there's any candidate that's really serious about the debt. We were hoping that Donald Trump may be one to, tackle it, but really it's not. So how do you get politicians interested enough to actually do something about the debt as opposed to what they've been doing lately, which is just piling more on?
Yeah, well, the unfortunate answer we're trying to avoid is if things get bad enough and there's no money to pay Social Security benefits, no money to pay troops, no money to pay for healthcare costs that the federal government covers, which is we're not that far away from. We're only the senators being elected in this election will have that happen in their term, in their 6-year term, if we don't do something. So I'd like to not wait until we get to that point. I think most people would prefer that we not wait until we get to that point to do something about it. And just it's important for people to know that that's coming. Right now we're at $38 trillion in national debt. It's still going up.
All right. How do we fix it then? Because I think in some ways people would look at their own personal finances and they would Dave Ramsey their family finances and, figure out ways to pay down debt and work strictly on that as much as they can, slim down all the other expenses so they can pay the debt down. How does a country like the United States even tackle that much debt?
Well, it's not much different. And we asked that question, too, in our poll, and 54% of Americans said cutting government spending needs to be the main thing that happens here. And what surprised us a little bit is that was across the board, Republicans, Democrats, independents. So, it's not just a Republican solution for these things. I think everybody, or at least 54% of Americans, realize that government's gotten way too big. It's spending way too much. It's making too many it's involving itself too much in the decisions of the economy and ordinary Americans, and that's where we need to start before it's too late.
Yeah, but how do we do that then? Because we have Donald Trump, who has shrunk the government. We keep seeing cuts being made, and I think it's at its lowest point in like a generation. And we're still spending more money. It doesn't matter what we do that might be a step in the right direction. It seems like we're ultimately spending more in the wrong direction at the same time. How do we stop? I really don't know the practical first step to it other than because even if you were to just start cutting more programs, the government shutdown would last longer. Democrats would have nothing to do with it. They want all of these different spending things. We had the Doge come in and even identify some of the most wasteful spending things, and they couldn't even agree on that. This looks bleak to me.
It does, but I try to always be an optimist. Last year, we reformed an entitlement program in this country, and it kind of went under the radar because it was in the same bill that did the no tax on tips and the no tax on overtime, and that got a lot of the attention. But we changed how Medicaid operates. And Medicaid, it's the healthcare program for the poor. Lots of fraud and waste and duplication in it. And the bill included some very common sense reforms, could actually even go further, but those reforms are going to bend the cost curve and make it so that this program is growing at about the rate of the economy rather than at twice the rate of the economy, which it was before, which doesn't, maybe that sounds like it's not good enough of a change, but it's more than we had before. But it also showed that this isn't impossible. We can reform entitlements and we can get it done. And so we should take that template and apply it to a lot of the other spending programs too. We've got a lot of duplication out there, multiple different education programs, multiple different farm programs, multiple different poverty alleviation programs. Even the beneficiaries are frustrated at the lack of common sense in how that duplication works and how inefficient it is. And there's a lot of work that could be done there, and people have got to demand that from their elected officials.
Right. And I know there's some things that we don't expect to find. Like, for example, we just had that giant mineral discovery in Nevada, and that could be very beneficial to the United States when it comes to rare minerals and the future of technology and how that might save some money down the line. There's some things that could help us, but you're right about the duplication in government and some of the problems. As soon as you start cutting some of these things, then, what do they say? They say, okay, these people are going to lose their jobs, and it's going to have massive unemployment spikes if we start cutting too far. And that's going to be a bigger issue than the debts. There's always some other consequence that they bring up that's more important than our debt. But how important should we make debt a priority right now? Because right now it doesn't even seem like it's a top 10 priority.
And that's everything you just said is true. I can't really debate any of that, but we need to make it a priority because in 2033 or thereabouts, we're going to have to cut Social Security benefits by about a quarter. That's written into the law because that's how much benefits are going to exceed the tax dollars, the payroll tax dollars that are paying for them. And nobody wants that to happen. And so what can we do to avoid that before we get to that moment? Because when we get to that moment, it's going to really pit everything against each other. And it's going to be even harder then to be able to do it. So something you said was very good, which is, sometimes we get lucky with mineral deposits or AI or everything. I mean, there's things that government can do to make sure that we take advantage of those situations and that we're set up to profit from them and benefit from them without necessarily just staking all of our hopes and dreams onto that happening. And that's some of the stuff we're working on at NTU.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They might find $1 trillion mineral deposit somewhere. They're not going to find 38 more to offset the national debt.
Right.
It would be nice. I get that. So, that's some of the work that you guys do. Polling is part of it, but at the National Taxpayers Union Foundation, a lot of research goes into it. If people wanted to look that research up, where can they go?
Yeah, it's our website, ntu.org. Our goal is to make sure taxpayers are represented in the halls of government, federal, state, local, in the judiciary, in the regulatory agencies. There's always lots of lobbyists fighting for special interests and fighting for the short-term interests. We're there making sure at least one group is working for the long-term and for the general interest. So check us out at ntu.org.
Yeah, in California, they seem to have it all figured out. They're just going to tax the rich, and that's going to solve all their problems. Is that what we need to do? We just got to tax our way out of debt?
I think they're already seeing how bad of an idea that is. It's not even passed yet. It's not even on the ballot yet, and a lot of people are moving out of the state in response to that. And that may be a big problem for the state budget this year because about half of their state budget comes from the wealthiest in the state, and so even the governor there is trying to tamp that down and saying that he's against this. That's how bad of an idea it is.
Well, it seems like they were all gung-ho about it. It's going to solve all their problems. They're going to be, the richest state in the country if they do all these things. But I forgot the number of billionaires that already left California. It's sizable. I mean, they're all pretty much fleeing the state as fast as they can. Okay, well, I hope that we have some sort of solution to this. I don't want to wake up in a cold sweat because you're saying within the next 5 to 10 years, we could really hit a massive cliff. And that would fundamentally change our daily lives if we don't correct course now, is essentially what you're saying.
Yeah, and the debt's continuing to go up. And Americans are correct that this is going to impact them. We're already seeing the impact in interest rates. We're already seeing the impact in our leadership in the world. It's a big albatross around our neck, the debt that we're carrying. And there's still time to course correct. So that's what we're trying to spread awareness about.
We need more people to spread awareness about this. And I mean, it seems like we bring it up and nothing ever happens until I really don't want to know what would have to happen. I guess the Social Security thing, they've been saying that forever. Like my entire life, Social Security won't be there when you're older, but it's always there. They always find a way to make it there. Do you really think?
Well, what they've said is that what they've said is that in the 2030s it will go bankrupt. That hasn't changed. They've said that for 20 years. It's just the 2030s are now almost here.
Yeah, but I always feel like they'll find something to fund it. They won't let that go bankrupt. It almost feels like they'll find a way, and it's going to have to come from somewhere, and it's just going to be the next generation, I guess. When it comes time for me to withdraw from it, it won't be there, I guess. But I don't like any of this. All of this scares me. Are we the only country that has problems with this, or is a lot of other countries in the same boat?
A lot of other countries are in the same boat. In fact, that's kind of a saving grace for us, is a lot of countries are almost in a worse situation. And take Europe, for instance, where the taxes that are talked about here to put on rich people, they've already done them, and they've done them for everybody, including the middle class. And so you see that in the economic slowdown and the lack of innovation that's going on over there. And, that's one path for us if we don't course correct.
Got it. All right. Joe Bishop-Henchman, Executive VP of the National Taxpayers Union Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate the time.
Thank you.